Hi friends, today I'm going to show you how to set up boto3 environment for the Windows and how to configure AWS credential on Windows Server. For this we would require boto3 module installation and as well as AWS command line interface installation. So what is the boto3? Boto3 is name of Python SDK for the AWS. It allows you to directly create, update and delete AWS resources from the Python scripts. That means without logging into the AWS user interface, you can access Amazon Web Services resources using Python script from the command line. So from the command line, you can access AWS resources. For that, we would require you to install AWS boto3. For that, I am using pip3. This is the Python command line. Pip3 install boto3. So boto3 was installed now. Okay. After that, we would require you to install command line AWS command line interface. From the command line interface, you can access any Amazon resources, right? Using boto3 module. For this, I am going to configure AWS credentials from the credentials in the AWS missions. Generally, we are accessing AWS resources using browser in the GUI mode, right? But instead of uh, logging into the AWS, here I'm going to configure the root credential. Let me open it. So here I'm going to create access ID for the root account. For this, my security credentials. Once you click on this, you can see access keys. Click on create new access key ID for the root account. Let it download this. Let me see whether the install successful. So we installed AWS boto3 and AWS command. Let me check AWS command line interface installed or not. Yes, command line interface was installed. Okay, now let me configure for the AWS credentials on the local machine. For this, let me configure this access key. So we have to configure AWS credential using this AWS configure command. It will ask us to enter access key and access key ID. So we have to enter the access key ID. Already I copied from there. Just enter. Now again copy the access key here. Let me paste here. Just enter. It will ask for the default region. If you are not enter any default region, it will take US East 1. US East hyphen region. So default region. You can enter any format by entering JSON format. Now check whether these credentials are configured or not. For this, we have to go through that Windows, My Computer, on local drive C, users, current user, on AWS. You can see the configuration settings here. This is the credentials. Let it open. So these are the configuration settings, right? So these are the credentials for the root user. So when you using AWS configure, it is going to create the profile as default, right? Whenever create one more IAM user, suppose I have one more IAM user, let me create that. So let me click on users. Let me create one more user. enter Balu. I don't want to give any AWS management console. I want to give programmatic access because I wanted to access from my local machine through AWS command line. That's the reason. Okay. Attaching existing for this policies for this AWS user. I'm going to give full access. Next tags. You can give tags, that means next review, and create user. So I want to configure this IAM user on the local machine. When you configure using AWS configure command, this credential will be override. These credential will be override with the Balu. Okay, let me see AWS. So what are the credentials are here? So these credential would be override for the Balu. So I don't want to override. So for that I want to create one more user, AWS configure profile for Balu. Here you have to enter the profile name. Just enter. Access key for this. Let it copy. Enter. Let it copy the secret key. Okay. Enter the default region. So now let me check for the credential for Balu. Right. Here type credentials. See, now configure the root credentials and IAM user also configured. Right. So let me go through the GUI. Again, I'm going to show from the user interface, right? So the default one is root user and the second one is IAM user. This is how you can create credential AWS. This is how you are going to configure AWS. So this way you can configure AWS credentials on the local machine. Okay, thank you for watching.